Sheldon Cooper says his own IQ out loud like it's a superpower.
Betty, I have an IQ of 187. Don't you imagine that if there were a way for me to have had soup at home, I would have thought of it?
And by the raw number he's right to, it beats Malcolm Wilkerson's by 22 points. Malcolm has never once said his own IQ out loud in 7 seasons, and somehow that turns out to be the more interesting fact in this whole comparison.
Analyze what I had for lunch.
For anyone who only knows the grown version from The Big Bang Theory, young Sheldon is that same person, not a different character borrowing the name. 9 years old, already living the exact life he'll still be living 20 years later. Same certainty, same complete inability to notice when he's the problem. Round 1 is just the number itself, so get it out of the way first. Sheldon hands that number out like a business card, completely unprompted, to anyone who'll stand still long enough to hear it. A roommate, a girlfriend, a delivery order, it doesn't matter.
How the hell did you get in the building?
Tell them about our IQ.
Malcolm's number arrives the opposite way. A teacher tells Malcolm to sit down with a stack of pictures and gives him 60 seconds to find what's wrong with each one, and he's already answering before she's even finished explaining the rules.
The car's shadow's going the wrong way. The steering wheel's on the wrong side. There's no brake pedal. The words in the mirror should be backwards. The guy's watch wouldn't say 12 o'clock if he's looking at a sunset. And I have red paint on my ass.
The actual number gets announced later that night at the dinner table, secondhand, by his mother, to the rest of the family.
He has an IQ of 165.
Who?
Malcolm.
Malcolm didn't say it himself. Somebody said it about him. While he sat there, finding out along with everyone else at the table. Ask around online which one of them actually wins, and the argument has been running for years without a winner, long after both shows stopped making new episodes.
4,884 squared is 23,853,456.
One side keeps that 22-point gap and calls the whole thing settled right there. The other side points out that an IQ score mostly measures how fast you spot a pattern, not how well you actually live around other people.
Come on, we have a combined IQ of 360. We should be able to figure out how to get into a stupid building.
And that of the two of them, only one grew up cushioned away from every disadvantage life could have handed him, while the other got handed every single one of those disadvantages and still came out running the room anyway. Neither side is really talking about the number by that point. They're talking about what each family did with it. Round 2, what each family actually did with that number once they had it. Sheldon's 11 years old, standing at a podium in a cap and gown at his own middle school graduation, having already been accepted somewhere most valedictorians spend 4 more years chasing.
I wish I could give you advice about middle school, but I was so smart I skipped it.
There's applause. There's a stage. Nobody in that room is confused about what to do with a kid like that. Malcolm's number gets him shipped into a special class within the same week.
Stop staring at me!
And by the next family picnic, it's already been repurposed as entertainment. One parent after another lines up to test the rumor, handing him a credit card and reciting the 16 digits out loud.
3699 7412 6823 9140 and 3424 1804 1835 3668.
And Malcolm runs the numbers in his head on the spot, running totals, percentages, one card after another, correctly, every single time.
Factors are 222 and 73.
Multiplied by pi.
26 and 261,000. Cubic. 584 and 214,000.
One number gets a stage, a cap and gown, and applause. The other gets treated like a magic trick between the potato salad and the fireworks. Round 3 is the one people actually argue about most online, not who knows more, but who understands other people better. Sheldon's roommate finally snaps after months of being taken literally.
For God's sake, Sheldon, do I have to hold up a sarcasm sign every time I open my mouth?
You have a sarcasm sign?
He has spent years around the same 3 people and still can't reliably tell when they're being sincere. Malcolm, meanwhile, has Medieval Week bearing down on him.
You look so adorable. You know what I love about Medieval Week? Is that you can spot the Krellboins from super far away. And they jingle when you hit them.
Jester costume, bells sewn on by hand, the full Krellboin humiliation lap in front of the entire school. Everyone else in his position fakes a stomach ache and gets sent home anyway to face it the next day. Malcolm does something else.
Damn! Stupid! I can't do it. I'm stupid and I'm terrible. I suck at everything.
He works out exactly what a convincing breakdown has to look like to get a kid pulled from class and walked straight to the school therapist instead.
Okay, so I faked it. But with the family I have, it would have only been a matter of time anyway.
Sheldon has never once successfully read a room in his life. Malcolm reverse-engineered an entire school's emotional bureaucracy well enough to con his way out of it on the very first try. Round 4 raises the stakes from embarrassing to actually dangerous. At 14, a former tutor lists Sheldon as co-author on a physics paper, and even his own mentor admits the room doesn't fully follow what he did with it.
This is so advanced that even other brilliant scientists don't understand it.
Sexy.
Don't do that.
Princeton and Stanford start calling the house within days. Impressive, and also completely safe, nothing happens to Sheldon personally if a page of the math turns out wrong.
I was kind of hoping I could meet Sheldon.
All in good time. We still got to whip some of the lumps out of that offer of yours. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Nobody is cutting him open over it. Malcolm doesn't get that safety net. A doctor diagnoses appendicitis and books him for surgery the next morning, and dismisses him outright the one time he tries to raise a doubt about his own body.
I'm feeling a lot better now, and my temperature's been down for 6 hours, and I'm thinking that maybe my first blood test wasn't accurate.
Now this is what we call a hysterical patient.
Malcolm keeps reading the numbers anyway, alone, from a hospital bed, with nobody in his corner.
If the blood count goes down to normal, that means it isn't appendicitis. It was probably just a transient infection or maybe even a cold sore.
By the time they're wheeling him into the operating room, sedated, counting backwards from 100, he has already written his own case out on his own arm.
I will sue your ass for malpractice.
Maybe we should run another blood test.
The surgeon reads it standing over him with the scalpel already in hand and stops. They run the test again. Malcolm was right the whole time. Sheldon proved a theorem in a room full of people already inclined to believe him. Malcolm talked a grown man with a scalpel out of cutting him open while barely conscious and completely alone. Round 5. Even a 187 IQ doesn't mean the math always lands. Sheldon Hand delivers a paper of his own to Stephen Hawking in person.
You clearly have a brilliant mind.
I know.
Convinced it's finished and flawless, and Hawking finds an arithmetic error on page 2 right in front of him.
That can't be right. I don't make arithmetic mistakes.
Then it actually sinks in exactly who he just handed his own mistake to.
Are you saying I do?
Oh, no, of course not. It's just, I was thinking, oh gosh golly, I made a boo-boo.
Malcolm's math, by contrast, never misses once, under any pressure. Watching his father lose hand after hand at a blackjack table, he counts the shoe down without being asked.
Okay, there's 6 stacks. They've already played out 18 nines, 14 eights, 12 sevens, but only 2 tens. A king of spades and a queen of diamonds, which leaves, well, you can do the math.
No, but you can.
His father drags him straight back to the table on the strength of a 9-year-old's word, wins big off it, calls him his little genius.
That's all that matters. Oh, my little genius.
And minutes later, both of them get walked out by casino security for having an underage card counter sitting at the table. Sheldon's mistake cost him 1 red faced second in front of his childhood hero. Malcolm's correct answer got father and son banned from a casino together. One more, just for color, before the two get weighed against each other for good. Sheldon also claims, flatly and without a shred of doubt,
Forget about it. Do I need to remind you I remember my birth?
nobody has ever been able to confirm that. Not even his own mother, who was there, remembers it very differently and has never once let him forget it. Neither camp has ever fully convinced the other, and neither one is arguing in bad faith. A smaller, louder corner of that same argument skips the intelligence question entirely and just wants to know who would win in a straight fight, and nobody on that side has ever had much trouble answering. That one isn't settled either, which is exactly why the same 2 names keep getting typed against each other years after both shows went off the air. And if you want to see how often that same brain still ends up outplayed anyway, this one is up next.